Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Mark, and welcome back to my YouTube video. Now, it's funny because you're probably wondering, what am I doing here after so long? You probably thought I was just gone and never coming back, right? You probably thought I was like a YouTuber that just dropped in, made a couple videos, and then was just gone. Well, guess what? I'm still here, so I'm sure you're happy to see me, right? Anybody? Okay. Well, anyways, if you're not happy to see me, I'm happy to see you. I'm very happy to be back here doing videos for you guys. I am back on a special occasion. You know, it was just Valentine's Day a couple weeks ago, and you know, it's still February. It's still the month of love, affection, everything. You name it, anything that is lovey-dovey, that's what you're gonna find in the month of February. Now, the problem is, I know that some of you guys out there are single right now. You don't have a partner, nobody to give you flowers. That is why I'm here, to be that one friend for you that sort of just sits down with you, chats it up a little bit, and makes fun of other people and their mishaps on Valentine's Day and in their love life in general. You are so welcome. And I'm really glad to be spending this time with you. Without further ado, I'm gonna go through a couple stories on Reddit and kind of just make fun of these people and, you know, see how bad their love life is. Okay, so the question for this one is, what is your worst first date story? I'm really excited to see what people have to say about this. I don't know about you guys, but I've had a couple bad first dates in my life. It's always funny and reassuring what other people go through on their first dates. You know, it makes me feel a lot better. We went out to dinner, and at one point she said she was going out to her car to smoke pot and also grab a Thich Nhat Hanh book to show me. I have no idea what that is. Before she left, she dropped the rock on the table. When she got back, she asked if the rock spoke to me. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe she's just she's a very spiritual person, who knows? Maybe this rock had some mystical powers or something, and she wanted to see if you're the one. You know, she's looking for another spiritual person. She wants to show you exactly what she's expecting out of you. I was surprised and said something like, no. What was it supposed to say? She said it was so funny that I said that even though she obviously didn't find it funny at all, and was in fact rather serious about the whole rock thing. Later, she looked up at me and said, "You look just like my mom at 16 years old." And I wonder what she's trying to tell me, because everything is a projection, right? Okay, I'll be honest with you, I feel like that's definitely a red flag. I don't think that I would be happy about hearing somebody tell me that I look like their mom at 16 years old. Brother, if you're I'm not sure if this is a woman or not, but if you're a guy, I think you should grow some facial hair or something. Maybe hit the gym. I'm not sure if that's a compliment, but if you're going for the whole feminine look, then you're killing it. So, as if it was not real or something. I don't know. I was like 35 too. Okay, I think that's definitely a compliment in that case. You look like a 16-year-old person, so your skincare must be on point. I realized I needed to do first dates in a more casual, time-limited setting, but then the pandemic started. It's unfortunate what you went through. It's unfortunate or fortunate, really depending on you, that you look like somebody's mom at 16. So at least you could go home with knowing the fact that you look like a young person. There's a win to everything. That wasn't so bad. Ooh, this is a long one. This happened around 2015. Not sure what online dating is like now. It hasn't gotten better, bro. But you could still get a serious date on Tinder back then. I lived in Amsterdam at the time, so lots of tourists on Tinder to avoid. Do I match with an expect? I don't know what does an expect? From the US, a filmmaker like me, okay. Another fellow filmmaker, that's cool. We went for a dinner in a small, nice bar I go to regularly. Turns out he was a tourist after all. And as many tourists in Amsterdam are, he was stoned and well on his way to become drunk too. Wow, great first impression, right? He had a grip on himself at first, but as soon as we had ordered our food and he got his first beer, his voice level got increasingly loud and I started getting embarrassed. He wanted to split our dishes 50-50 so he could taste various things. I told him he could try a piece of my fish and chips, but I was not interested in splitting our whole dishes. As soon as the food came out, he was like, "So, can I try a piece?" And before I could answer, he just went for it and grabbed one of my 2 pieces of fish with his bare hands. He was so unhinged, half of my fries flew from my plate, brought into the neighbor's plate. I don't know, maybe he was just a little bit nervous. That's why he got drunk beforehand and a little bit high too. And I don't know, maybe he was just trying trying to lighten the mood a little bit by just grabbing your fish with his bare hands and then tossing your fries all over the place. Honestly, you could just laugh it off. It's just a funny little thing. You and him could probably be laughing about this in 10 years or so, when you're happily married and having kids. So I don't see a problem with that at all. During dinner, he kept talking louder and louder about his mental issues from being in the army. Holy shit. Okay, I take it back. Seemed like he was having some flashbacks too. Which he tried to push away more and more years. That's horrible. Jesus Christ, you poor thing. The staff was starting to give me, what the fuck did you bring in this time? Looks. Yeah, you think? All the time I was basically flabbergasted about everything that was happening and tried to do damage control and keep the whole thing as civil as possible. As soon as we were done with the main course, he asked me if I was into finding another girl somewhere so we could have a trios. Wow, that's amazing. What a classy guy. You don't find guys like these nowadays. Oh, and what I wanted for dessert. Oh, let me read the whole thing so it hits the punchline a little bit better. As soon as we were done with the main course, he asked me if I was into finding another girl somewhere so we could have a trios. Oh, and what I wanted for dessert. I just tried to give the waiter to give us the check as fast as possible so I could get the F out of there. What? You didn't want to have a trios with this veteran? What's wrong with you? No love for the veterans nowadays. When we were outside, he asked me if we could get some ice cream. I told him this was not going to work out. He seemed surprised. And that's the end of the story. Wow, what a roller coaster. At least now you have a funny story you could tell people about how your first date was a little bit unhinged, drunk, high, was a veteran, and also wanted a trios. And I mean, he wanted dessert as well, so at least, he kept you in mind. Bartenders of Reddit, what was the worst first date you've ever witnessed? Not a bartender, but saw a dude at the theater I used to work at. He was dressed up and had flowers for Valentine's Day. He sat in the lobby for over an hour and quietly came up to the counter and asked if he could return his tickets. That's actually horrible, man. Wow. On Valentine's Day too? Somebody asked, could he? And he said, yeah. I mean, at least he returned the tickets, but dude, that's horrible. I cannot imagine being stood up on Valentine's Day. He seems like a romantic guy, so I'm sure he found a lady out there that really appreciates his romantic approaches, and I hope they're happily together still. I really hope this guy didn't just give up on love, because it's out there, man. You just gotta keep looking. Okay, this is good. I really want to get into this one. Reddit, what's the worst Valentine's Day you've had? In 6th grade, I had a crush on a girl and I wanted to send her a rose, something the school did. But I didn't want her to know it was me. My handwriting is incredibly distinguishable and I was really shy. So I paid one of my friends $1 to write her name and Happy Valentine's Day from your secret admirer on the card. He went to the desk, set up at lunch, and turned in the card. Everyone at my lunch table, I should have mentioned this took place during lunch, okay? Watched as one of the teachers delivered the card to Lauren, for that was her name. We continued to watch as she smiled and giggled with her friends. She then jumped up and ran to the desk where they were selling the card/roses, wrote some stuff down, and then ran back to her table. A few moments later, the teacher got up and walked over to my table. She gave a card back to my friend that I paid to write the note, and it was from Lauren. She had recognized his handwriting and wanted to go on a date. He got up and went to her table and accepted the offer. Jackass. It's your fault, man. They went on a date and were dating as much as a 6th grader can be for the rest of the year. She moved to El Paso at the end of the school year, never to be seen again. This is horrible, man. I feel bad for you. I know it was 6th grade, but brother, this must have been very, very traumatizing. I feel like to this day you're probably still thinking about this. This post was 15 years ago, so I really hope that you moved on and, found your person. That's all I could say. But man, could you imagine if these two stayed together? Like, you search up your friend on Facebook and you see him and Lauren are like happily married now and living in El Paso. That would be insane, brother. I would be shocked. I don't know what I would do. But yeah, I hope that you moved on from this, and I hope that you learned the basic laws of how not to be a pussy and Ask a girl out yourself. This seems interesting. Reddit, what are some of your funniest Valentine's Day stories? Dude here. Hey dude, when I was a freshman in college, my parents decided they wanted to come visit me the weekend of Valentine's Day and wanted me to come out and meet them in the city for dinner that night. I was a little pissed as I wanted to get drunk at a bar somewhere and take advantage of all the single, lonely ladies looking for some love. But oh well. So I'm in the city with my parents, and we had some time to kill until a dinner reservation when my mom suggests we go to the bar across the street and have some drinks. We go across the street and find a table and sit down. My mom immediately gets up to the bathroom, and then my dad leaves the bar to go check in with the restaurant. I'm starting to look around and observe my surroundings, and I realize 3 things in this order. Number 1, there's not a single girl in here. Number 2, why are all the guys staring at me? And number 3, oh shit. My parents left me alone in a gay bar on Valentine's Day. Period. One of the guys comes over and asks how I was doing. I ignored him. Waited for my mom to get out of the bathroom, grabbed our coats, and left. It's still a family story till this day. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is very ironic because that weekend you wanted to go to a bar and take advantage of all the single ladies in that bar. So your parents took you to a gay bar and you got to experience what it is to be a single girl in a bar. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of poetic to a sense if you think about it. And it's very ironic. Maybe your parents set it up for a reason. Maybe they wanted to teach you a lesson. And if that's what happened, then props to them. They probably taught you the most traumatic lesson in the world. And now you will never, ever, ever take advantage of single, lonely, drunk ladies in a college bar. That kind of sucks that happened to you, though. I'm sure you could have had a better time by yourself on Valentine's Day, but hey, at least you got to see your family. At least you got a funny story out of it. And at least you got the confidence knowing that dudes like you. So you're probably a handsome fella too. So there we go. I feel like a lot more better things happen you going to this gay bar than if you stayed at a straight bar on campus or around campus or whatever. I don't know. I feel like it wasn't that bad of a story. Could have been worse. You know, you could have had a dude like smack your butt or something. All right, I feel like we've gone through a couple sad stories. You know, we've gotten enough amusement from other people's misfortunes on Valentine's Day and on their first dates and everything. So I really want to end this video looking over a funnier story, which I found. I just read the first couple sentences and I was like, you know what? This is a funny story and I want to read it out loud. This goes back to the question, bartenders of Reddit, what was the worst first date you've ever witnessed? If you can remember that, you know, we did go over that. And somebody replied, this wasn't a bad date, but it's definitely a first date story I like to tell. Was tending an empty bar one night when a good-looking blind dude in his 40s with a seeing eye dog came in. He sat at a bar, asked some questions, and I got him some wine. He was really friendly, and we were having a good time chatting. Told me he was meeting his date there, and then they were gonna leave to see a show. I mean, what a considerate guy. The dude can't see it, but you know he's still taking his girl out to a show. What a guy. He then asked me, hey, can my dog sit at the bar? There was no one else there. So, okay man, sure. He snapped his fingers, and the dog, a full-grown German Shepherd, hopped into the bar stool. And now both he and his dog were sitting across from me. All 3 of us on equal eye level. This was pretty entertaining, and I was having a blast joking with the guy. That's actually really cool. Dude, that is the coolest thing that I gotta teach my dog. If you guys don't know, I have a Hungarian, Vizsla, mixed with a Labrador. Coolest, cutest dog in the world. She's so young, and she knows so many tricks and stuff. I think one of the tricks I need to teach her is I need to teach her to sit at a stool so I can take her to bars and stuff and have her sit down with me and have a drink. I think that'd be really cool. Obviously, she wouldn't be drinking alcohol. Come on, guys. Don't be so sensitive, okay? Don't be that sensitive. Anyways, he then asked if his dog could have a beer. After a quick back and forth, I poured an IPA into a bowl in front of the dog, who housed the whole thing in about 10 seconds flat. Okay, so this dog obviously has some drinking experience. Guys, would I do this with my dog? No. I wouldn't give my dog beer, but that is pretty cool. And could you imagine, you know, bringing your dog to a party or like a bar or a club or something, and then you're just drinking beer with your dog? That is so dope. Is it good for the dog? No. Does it make for a funny story? Honestly, maybe. I think it definitely does make for a funny story, but at the dog's expense, of course. But whatever. I know I'm lame. I care for my dog. I'm sorry. Additional information. Okay, so that was the whole story apparently. He didn't even want to talk about the dog drinking beer. He just kept saying the funniest things and telling the most interesting stories. I've never wanted to keep talking to a person I had just met more. He had me completely in the palm of his hand. Wow, man. Okay, it sounds like you're crushing on this dude. I'm a straight man, and this dude had me flying talking to him. What a guy. This guy is a rizaholic, man. He's blind, you know, he's teaching his dog cool tricks, and he's so good at talking to people, and he's so charismatic that this guy is pulling a straight man. 5 minutes later, the hottest woman I've ever seen walked in. He paid his bill and left with her and the dog to go to a jazz show for the first date. Coolest motherfucker I ever met. Think about him all the time. I feel like this dude probably exaggerated a couple details. It sounds like he was crushing on this guy a little bit low key. So, and then he said the hottest woman in the world walks in. I don't know. Maybe it was the hottest woman this guy's ever seen. And maybe the dog did down a whole beer in like 10 seconds. I don't know. There's so many different parts of the story that sound a little bit exaggerated. But honestly, it was a good time reading this. At least this guy's a good storyteller, you know? At least we can give him that. And I'm really happy that we could end this video on a good note. Maybe if you're lonely for Valentine's Day or lonely in general right now, this is a good reminder that this blind man completely turned his life around, made himself the coolest guy in the world, and pulled, according to this guy, the hottest woman in the world. And he was blind too. So guys, there's no excuse. If there's a lesson to be learned in this video, is that there's no excuse. So keep looking and keep working on yourself. I'm sad to say that that is the end of this video. I had a really good time sitting here and talking to you guys, and also sharing some stories that, you know, I was just scrolling on Reddit and I found. And, you know, hopefully this video in some shape or form helped you feel a little bit better and a little less lonely for Valentine's Day. I don't know what your situation is. I don't know if you just didn't have a Valentine, which I'm really surprised that you didn't. But if you didn't have a Valentine, or you're just a little bit lonely right now, maybe you're just not seeing your partner or anything, I really hope that this video helped you out a little bit, made you feel a little bit better. Anyways, I've been Mark. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow my socials. Follow my Instagram, especially if you want to see more behind the scenes of what I do, YouTube and other stuff alike. Who knows? I love doing these sit-down concepts where I just read stories and stuff. So maybe I'll just set up a little poll or something on my Instagram where you could send maybe a little anonymous message, a little anonymous story, and I will do my best not to judge you while I'm reading and responding to your stories and questions. I don't know, I think that'll be really fun. So anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.